All right, here we go with the big board.
What's on the big board? What's on the big board?
Presented by RPT and Rick's Pro Truck. Best suspension kit crew in the state at RPT and Rick's Pro Truck. Lakeland Drive, Flowood, I-55 South. Jackson, let's pull up the Butch Jones audio. Maybe Tennessee fans would replace that. But, all right, so Jalen Hurd left the Tennessee team Sunday, Monday. And they look like they're in turmoil and could be imploding, and they lose to Will Muschamp. They got Muschamped.
What do you mean could be imploding? They're clearly imploding.
Are they clearly imploding,
I think it's
or
all
on
day.
the verge, or is it done?
Players jumping off the boat is implosion.
They lost to Muschamp. And then one of your top 5 players jumps out.
Who do they have left? Tennessee Tech is a W. Kentucky is a W.
Oh, whoa.
Missouri's a W.
Whoa.
Kentucky's not any good.
Neither was South Carolina.
That's true. God, they've got a cakewalk, though. They have an absolute cakewalk from here on out.
This whole year.
Do you think Kentucky and Vandy are shoe-ins for Tennessee right now?
I do.
I don't see it.
But I may be wrong.
I mean, what's their effort going to look like?
That's true. That's true. Or is it just one or two guys out of 85? All right, so this is Butch Jones talking Jalen Hurd, the tailback at Tennessee, leaving the program basically mid to late season.
I know there's a lot of talk out there. I met with Jalen Hurd this morning, and we had a conversation, and we have a great relationship. And Jalen has informed me that he intends to transfer, and I support him on that. And, I'm very, very thankful for everything that he's done for our football program. But it's all about our football program and our football team and moving forward from this point forward. So I'll answer any questions you may have. Well, I think it's a combination of a long football season, been contemplating that, and I don't want to speak for Jalen. There's a lot of things that, go into that decision, and I guess the only thing I'll say is, I value our relationship and have a lot of respect for that young man and wish him nothing but the best.
Y'all buying that?
No, I don't buy that a bit. Come on. They have a great relationship. Is that why he left the team?
Where does
Butch is trying to save face.
could they he may not lose another game. So could they really fire him at 9-3?
No, they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do that.
You got an AD that's leaving, and you have a chancellor that's leaving.
He loses to Kentucky or Vandy.
You don't have anybody. I mean, Dave Hart is Dave Hart. They're not going to allow Dave Hart, who is leaving, to fire Butch Jones and hire somebody, and then Dave Hart's retiring next spring.
No, I am with
And
Drew
he's
on
basically a lame duck AD, and the chancellor is also going from being a chancellor to a professor. So who's going to make that move unless some, interim AD is named, maybe a big booster like Texas did, and you bring in a guy who's running, or he's a CEO of an
That's
organization.
kind of what Ole Miss did with hiring Freeze.
Yeah,
Because they fired Pete Boone at the same time.
so they had the FedEx dude and Archie
Right.
go out and do a search, and then they came back with Hugh Freeze. I guess they could do that. Do you see that happening?
Depends on if they lose to Kentucky or Vandy,
Why not?
he's gone. You can't lose.
They should win. They should win considering their talent profile. Tennessee Tech, Kentucky, Missouri, at Vandy. They have 3 straight home games against bad football teams, and then at Vandy.
This was supposed to be their
I
year.
mean, Vandy can't score.
Yeah.
Tennessee
Vandy
scored
goes backwards more than they go down the field.
Tennessee only scored 14 points against South Carolina.
Josh Dobbs has not gotten better. That's a direct indictment.
He's regressed.
Right. On Butch Jones' staff and they lack the coaching ability to make Josh Dobbs just a little. I'm not asking him to be Deshaun Watson, okay? Just a little bit better.
So now Tennessee, Alvin Kamara, who was their second running back, who's out for the year. Now Hurd is gone. They can't run the ball now or throw it. I mean, I don't know.
Dobbs can't throw it.
I don't know where their offense is going to come from.
Okay. Well, that's something to keep an eye on. And so Tennessee, who does Tennessee remind you of? Post Fulmer, they have yet to get it together at the athletic director's position or head coaching position. We're going on a decade post Fulmer. This is kind of like Michigan. Michigan finally had to get their act right, and they go out and landed the number one coach on the market for their job because Nick Saban was not leaving Bama and Urban Meyer was not leaving Ohio State. Right. So Michigan got their act together. Somebody, boosters, smart men. Boosters aren't always bad. Now, they screw up a lot. Guys worth $500 million to several billion love to screw up their athletic departments in universities because they're emotional about that, whereas they're not about the corporations and companies that they run. But in this case, what did Michigan do? The number one free agent on the market they landed. Now, granted, he was an alum, right? It was his alma mater. He was a wonderful quarterback at Michigan, Jim Harbaugh. But it lined up. Things had gone south for the 49ers. And when was the last time that a major powerhouse program landed the number one free agent on the market? Harbaugh in Michigan. It doesn't happen often. No. Saban in Bama. Florida and Urban Meyer. Remember, Pete Carroll was like the 5th, 6th, or 7th choice for Southern Cal. You know, Pete can sell. He had to go in there and Houdini act and sell, and then all of a sudden they had their best 4-year run in the history of their program, 4 or 5 year run. So is Tennessee, but Tennessee to me is an A. They're not an A+ like Florida, Bama, LSU, Texas, Ohio State, Michigan. Do you agree? They're a really good program.
Yeah, but they're not top tier.
They're not top 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
I don't go to Tennessee. I go to Texas, USC, Florida, LSU, Bama, Michigan, Ohio State. Right there, I'm at 7 or 8. And even then, I take Georgia over Tennessee if they were operating right.
Yeah,
okay, they're not. They went and hired a guy who had no head coaching experience. And maybe even a few. But so they're in that A-, B+ range. But they have a lot of money, they love it, and they have facilities. And for a decade now, they haven't been a part of the conversation. And until this year, the Ole Miss Rebels and Mississippi State Bulldogs were much more successful the last 5 years, right? Much more successful. NFL players and wins on the field and bowl games. We welcome you in on a Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great Halloween. Our number is 601-707-3750. We're streaming on the zone1059.com. You can download the Out of Bounds radio app and listen to the show wherever you are. We thank you for listening out of state, throughout the state of Mississippi. We've got Tom Luganbill coming up here in 6 minutes. Pumped about that. Let me give you a number here. Bama LSU. Last 7 Bama versus LSU games, there's been 95 players who were drafted. Jackson. Last 7 Bama LSU games, we've had 95 players who were drafted in the NFL. That's loaded rosters, and 23 of the 95 were first-round picks. We'll take one quick call as we wrap up the big board. Chris, good morning. What do you have for me, bud?
Oh, man, well, I lived in Tennessee, and I lived in Knoxville for a little over 10 years. And I'm going to tell you what, man, you are exactly right. Butch Jones is not the right coach for this team. The team has been in disarray since Phil Fulmer left. And I think a lot of the fans probably secretly wish that Fulmer was still there.
Yeah, after they wanted to, it's the whole you don't know what you have till it's gone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Dooley wasn't the answer. And I don't blame Kiffin for wanting to leave when he left.
No, I don't either.
I was there for all of these, for all the coaches that have happened from Fulmer to Butch Jones, and But Butch is not the right guy, and I don't know who he is. I'm not a volunteer fan. I consider myself a missionary when I was there. I was trying to convert balls to bulldogs when I was there. But that didn't work out too well. But I tell you what, though, that fan base is something else.
Ooh.
They every year they think they're going to win 10, 12 games. They should be in the national championship year in and year out, and nobody can compete with them outside of Alabama.
No.
Completely false.
God bless them. Hey, Chris, thanks for the call, bud. Appreciate you weighing in. I think that may have been another first-time caller. We've had a lot of those. Let's take a break. The Big Board is brought to you by Coxwell Law and Coxwell & Associates, the #1 criminal defense law firm in the state of Mississippi, with Buddy Coxwell and Chuck Mullins. And you can visit CoxwellLaw.com. They just won another monster case, not surprising. 2 super sharp attorneys. Actually, they have several in the firm, but they lead the way at CoxwellLaw.com. Straight ahead, Luganville, SEC and